with our favourite, number 5, Dr. Jewel Crane. Williams rides for Ma and Eustace, has won 2 from its last 2 races, and one of them was a Cranbourne Cup, and it was pretty impressive.
Dominant performance on that occasion. We've seen it a couple of times today as well, just to refresh your memory, and if he can run up to that sort of form, he's going to be hard to beat.
Jane, how does this 5-year-old gelding present today?
Yeah, presents in terrific order, given a little bit of time in between runs, but I just think very well managed, because he's been up and racing since April and he's held his form, he's held his condition, he's held his colour. He looks just as good as he did at the beginning of his preparation, if not better. He ticks all the boxes on race day because he's such a relaxed type.
Number 1 is 50 Stars. We see the form lines around Gatting, Colding, Magic Wand. As you said, Hutch, the winner might just be looking us in the face, really, obviously, and we might be going past it.
And you didn't mention Fierce Impact in the Kentala either. That's not a bad effort, and wasn't beaten a big margin on that occasion. No, he's look, he's got weight to carry, but he deserves to be carrying it.
5-year-old Entire, who just again a galloper that copes so well with racing. He could not look any better than what he does in the yard today, but he has for his last couple of starts. So his physical presentation certainly gives him every opportunity here. 2
is Suzuka Devious. Can the Japanese visitor run a race today, Hutch?
Yeah, I think he can. I mean, if you're giving 50 Stars some sort of chance, I'm not sure about it on win line, because he does get a long way out of his ground, but look, both runs have been decent. He can certainly post a sectional, and if he's got a bit of improvement to come, perhaps he might finish around the mark.
Lovely athletic individual. He strips fit for this. Got himself really worked up at Flemington prior to his run in the McKinnon. He's much more settled today. I'm not really sure what to put that down to, but as far as his 3 parades, or this is his 3rd parade in Australia, this is his best one.
Number 3 is Cars Off. I liked the run behind Finch 2 starts ago.
That was a good run, and you could probably forgive the next outing. And look, Cars Off is pretty consistent on the whole, and I suppose you got Mark Zara on board, and with the excuses last start, you've got to give him a chance to figure from a leading yard.
Requires number 4, Archie Alexander, looking to win his hometown cup, and he's got a horse that's 2 from 2 at the track.
That's the positive stat with this gallop. I mean, he does like it here. One of his wins was terrific as well, coming from well back in the field. I don't know if he's quite been where he was his preparation, so he needs to bring his best form if he's going to figure.
Number 6 is Runaway. Stevie Bass has been riding this horse in recent times. With him out, Zachy Spain gets the opportunity.
Yeah, and the little gear change, crossover noseband back on. Look, he got an easy lead at Flemington, and he couldn't figure there, so he probably needs to make it more of a test today. 7
is Plain CL. Has been getting back in its races and trying to attack the line. Behind Yulong Prince 2 starts ago was okay.
Can never find this horse either. He's been quite a good winner, but he just didn't get the tempo to suit, I didn't think, in that race at Hillside. He's on the backup, that might help.
Look, I think he looks exceptional as far as his parade's gone, and physically he's at his peak. He's absolutely glowing in the coat, and for the most part he was very, very well behaved in the yard. He has already headed down to the start because he can get a little bit worked up, but he was nice and relaxed. I just think he needs luck. The team have done their job. He's here in good enough order.
Number 9, Al Farris. The blinkers are off, the winkers are on. A winner 3 starts ago over the 2500.
Yeah, I like the blinkers coming off with him. He was racing well on the winkers. He's, like you said, he's been contesting in some decent races. I wouldn't read too much into that last run. I think he could probably bounce back to form today.
Number 10 is Another Dollar. Again, recent form lines have been pretty handy.
They have, also from the Chris Waller yard, and look, he battled really well. I thought against Tally 2 runs back, that sort of form would give him some hope in a very competitive race.
I really liked him at Flemington. I thought that he was moving well in the yard. I thought he was forward in condition, so I didn't think he had any excuses from my perspective, and it's the same today because he's turned up in really good order. So if he's good enough, he'll be thereabouts. If not, well, no excuses.
11 is Second Bullet. Has been second up 11 times and has placed 4 of them.
I don't think settling handy really suited him. I mean, the tempo wasn't strong. Would have liked to see a bit more at Flemington first up, given his fresh profile, but he can handle a long preparation. As a 9-year-old, maybe he's going to take a run or 2.
Number 12 is WT. I've been so impressed with the campaign so far of this galloper.
He's hard fit. He's been racing well. Look, he just when he wrestled the lead off Pakadali, he was run down by midterm last start, but he carried 57 there. He drops to 54 here. He's got a good turn of foot. hopefully he gets the speed in the race. I'm not sure what's there. Maybe he doesn't need to be that far back.
Oh, he's furnished into such an impressive type. He's so strong in front of the saddle. He's got a great rein on him and a great shoulder, and he's a really nice staying individual. He's just doing things much better this preparation too. The more racing he has, the more relaxed he's becoming in the yard, because he is quite an impatient type. But to me, he looks fantastic ahead of this event.
13 is Hangman. Hutch, I haven't seen your selections. I don't know where you've got this horse, but it's just got a little bit of X factor, and I would take it from us working together on track. We are both in agreement, so 2,400 back down to 2,000 is the key.
Exactly. And he can travel well in his races, and he's going to show a much better turn of foot in this distance range, if not a touch shorter. So I like him. I think he can run well. He got a lovely ride in every possible last start, and if he gets a similar run in transit today, I'm sure he could figure.
I put him on top from the yard prior to the Bendigo Cup because I couldn't find any fault with him. I thought he was absolutely at his peak. I love the way he moves in the yard. He's a horse that strides out really nicely. He looks just as good as he did at Bendigo. In fact, he's been walking around the yard like he's feeling pretty good too. So, look, he's one that I'd be sticking with here. 14
is Red Alto, been going at a big price in recent starts.
Yes, and today is not much different, is he really? He's pretty big in the market once again, around that $71, and that probably does reflect his chances.
15 is Gun Down, comes out of the same race as WT, was beaten by it.
Only 2 lengths though, so it wasn't a bad effort. To 4th run of the preparation, and had 2 over this trip now, so not the worst.
16, Aristocratic Miss. We've seen this horse win out over 2,000. I thought it was a massive performance in the Group 2.
I agree. She was close enough. She just kept battling. Her form actually over this distance. She's had a couple of goes of it, and she's run well on both occasions. I think she's really well placed. She's the sort of run at $21. If there's a few that need to get out today, Adam, it might be Aristocratic Miss that does it.
And Millie Mello is the final runner that we'll take a look at. Second up today. She's been second up on 5 occasions, yet to place.
Yes, and I think it's probably easy to make a case for a few of the others, so 100 to 1.
Jane, who's the pick at the yard for you?
I'm with a 13 here in Hangman. As I said, I thought he looked outstanding prior to Bendigo, and I feel like he has really just continued in that vein heading into today's run. He's one that paraded like he was feeling really good, so I'm going to stick with him. Hangman goes on top in the Ballarat Cup ahead of WT. I really did have to make a hard decision between these 2 gallopers because I thought they were the 2 that really stood out from the yard. I've got a lot of good things to say about WT. He just keeps lifting every time the bar's raised, and I think that he is just doing things so much better from, I guess, mental perspective than he has before. So 13 on top ahead of the 12. I thought the 1 presented well enough to make his presence felt 2 and 50 stars.
In this race, on Kauai, which is in the race, so he's one of the jockeys this one. Yeah, it certainly was. Craig Williams is the other jockey in this race that has tasted success here, and Chris Waller, the only trainer with a runner in this race that has won previously as well. So a bit of history on the Ballarat Cup, but a man that'll be hoping to add to that, and his name on this board is Paddy Payne as well. And tell you what, WT's been flying in recent times, Jane, and they'll be hoping it continues here.
Well, Patrick, this is a horse that it appears like every time you sort of set the bar for him, he seems to reach it. Have you been really happy with what you've seen from him and the way he's progressed this campaign?
Extremely happy. Like, he's exceeded expectations. He's just sort of come through the grades. He won his first race at Mildura, and he just sort of kept winning from there. So he's done a great job.
What's he sort of showing you at home? Is he a horse capable of being successful at this sort of level?
I would be surprised. Like, some of these horses got Group 2 form, and I would be surprised if he's at the level. But we're just sort of hoping, and we are hoping that that he's still on the way up, and the others may be on the way down. But as I said, we're more hopeful and bullish.
Has this been a target for this campaign?
We just thought we'd target some country cups, and he ran pretty well in the Kyneton Cup, and the form around that's been pretty good. So we thought we'd have a go at the Ballarat Cup.
As far as his race pattern goes, are we likely to see him get back from the barrier?
He seems to race a lot better in quiet. Actually, the quieter the rider, the better he goes.
As far as his turn of foot, it's pretty impressive. What sort of instructions do you give to Billy Egan? Is there a certain time in the race where you let him go?
Not really. Basically, just find a peaceful spot, and then he has to work out from there. It's all in tempo, so I can't sort of tell him to go up to 600 because you don't know how the race is going to be run, really.
Are you confident with a horse like him coming into a race like this, or are you just hopeful that he can make the step up?
Confident he's going to run a race, but more hopeful that he's a winning chance.
All the best.
Thank you.
Okay, so interesting to get the thoughts here of Paddy Payne, an astute trainer. We know that, and WT's just been continuing to go through the grades and been very impressive so far in this preparation. Matty, who's the market mover with you guys?
More money for the favourite, as we've seen a couple of times today. So once again, punters and deciders, as we get closer to the start of the race, we'll take the favourite. We're back Dr. Drill here once more. So our Bet Easy market mover is the favourite, number 5, Dr. Drill.
Perhaps they've been wrong 7 times today. Can they be right for the 8th? Because the favourites just have not looked after punters here at Ballarat.
There'll be plenty that are hoping that it is the case. So it's a competitive race. I don't know. I mean,
it's great depth to it, isn't it, this year? There's so many, as we mentioned, 50 stars, got the obvious form lines, but when you go through the other runners, Dr. Drill's been so consistent this preparation so far. We've seen Hangman, an explosive type with a turn of foot. As you said, Aristocratic missed the way it's been going, and she might be able to cause a bit of a boil over.
a lot of horses, if they bring their best and with the right run in the race, as I said on before the first earlier today, I think that'll go a long way. And that's perhaps a reason why the favourite is pretty solid in the market, because Dr. Drill can take a position in a race. He makes his own luck. And that's going to really help his cause.
The anthem has been sung. The horses are now behind the barriers. The listed at 2019 Sportsbet Ballarat Cup over the 2,000 metres. An intriguing event. Let's hand you over now to Matty Hill.
Terrific, Adam. Looking forward to it. The Sportsbet Ballarat Cup. So it's Dr. Drill 280 into 260. The way the track's played today, the inside draw, Craig Williams riding so well. Great turn of foot in the Cranbourne Cup. He's an undeniable chance here. 260 with bookies, Dr. Drill. 290 on the tote. Moving in, getting set for the Sportsbet Ballarat Cup of $500,000. Dr. Drill is the first one in. WT with the 54 kilos. Billy Egan in the stalls. Red Alto is forward. Plenciel currently riderless. Here's the bolter, Melly Mellow, going into the stalls. Last year's winner, Kawaya, with Johnny Allen sporting a blue distinguishing cap. 50 Stars, who ran so well in the McKinnon, goes up into the stalls with Jai McNeil aboard. $6 with bookmakers and on the tote. More support, Dr. Drill, into $2.50 now with Victorian official prices. Plenciel comes along. El Faris takes up his alley with Daniel Stackhouse aboard. We await on another dollar. Aristocratic Miss, Runaway, who's the pace element in the race. Gun Down, Second Bullet, Hangman, and also Cars Off. Last look at the tote board, Dr. Drill, $2.70. As we see going into the stalls, riderless Plenciel. Plenciel is in. Here's another dollar going up with the barrier blanket. Linda Meach aboard this 5-year-old mare. Runaway taking it outside Ellie. Now Hangman, who has such a tremendous record at 2,000 metres, coming back in distance today, takes an outside stall. Cars Off going in. Now Second Bullet precedes Cars Off. Second Bullet goes forwards. Damien Thornton is Cars Off now, and Gun Down will be the last. Sportsbet Ballarat Cup listed level, $500,000. Gun Down's going to take one more turn. And now 260 on VOP's Dr. Drill. Gun Down taking the outside stall, completes the line, and the field is set. Sportsbet Ballarat Cup, stand by for a start. 50 Stars keen to get on with it. An attendant going in towards the middle with another dollar. Signal racing in the Ballarat Cup. Pretty good line too. Hangman's going back towards the end after a few strides, with also Cars Off. Second Bullet. Dr. Drill began quickly with another dollar. Run away from the deep as expected, forcing forward. Not too far off him is a Gun Down in the early part, followed by Suzuka, Devious and Aristocratic Miss. They were followed by 50 Stars. A length and a half away then on the outside is Kawaya and Red Alto. El Faris. A length and a quarter, Melly Mellow. Then Hangman and Cars Off. Well back Plenciel, WT. And towards the end of the field is Second Bullet down the back, and it's Runaway at the 1,400 metres by a length and a quarter. Gun Down. Dr. Drill is third, the inner. They were followed by another dollar. A length Suzuka, Devious, 3 wide in 5. The insiders 50 Stars, and then came Aristocratic Miss. 3/4 of a length Kawaya, 3 deep. The trip from Red Alto, and then El Faris, Melly Mellow. Well back in the field, Hangman, and then came Cars Off, Plenciel, WT, and at the end of the field is Second Bullet. They run off the back section at halfway. underway in the $500,000 Ballarat Cup. 1,000 to go, and it's run away at an even speed by a length and a quarter. Gun down. Dr. Drill perched nicely. Third the inside. Another dollar pulling. Suzuka Devious, the Japanese Raider, out wider. Two further back in the field, 50 Stars. And then came Aristocratic Miss and Kawaya. A length away, Red Alto and Hangman. In that group of horses, El Faris. And then came Plenciel well back with Cars off. Second Bullet's getting going from the back. Mally Mellow second last. WT is last. Runaway leads the field up around the turn as they reach the 450 from Gun Down, and they were followed by Dr. Drill, who needs a run. Suzuka Devious next, then Aristocratic Miss. Further back, 50 Stars, Hangman, Cars off. Red Alto's flat to the boards, and then Alfaris WT. It's Runaway in front. Dr. Drill's trying to get a run, and he's through now. Runaway just in front of another dollar. Dr. Drill, then Kawaya down the outside with Cars off and WT. They're stretched across. Kawaya's getting through. Kawaya burst through, back to back. Kawaya's just won from WT, another $1.50 Stars in a photo with Dr. Drill, who tied in the final 100. Aristocratic Miss behind those, followed then by Cars off second Bullet. It was a humdinger of a cup. Behind those, Runaway, Alfaris, Hangman, Suzuka Devious, and then Melly Mellow, Red Alto, and Gun Down was at the tail of the field.
It's a local winner. Kawaya goes back-to-back now with Archie Alexander, ridden by Johnny Allen, who tastes success in this race again. WT, very honest in game in second. Another dollar has got third. The numbers there, 4, 12 and 10. But tell you what, Hutch, an intriguing race. It looked as though Dr. Drill had got out at the right time and was potentially going to be the one, but Kawaya proven at this track, 3 from 3 now when racing here at Ballarat.
He loves it. He loves it at his home course. Well done to Archie Alexander. He's a popular trader. WT launching late out wide. All a little bit too late, but what do we have? About a length and a half covering about 7 horses, so plenty in with a chance in those concluding stages. Didn't know where to look, Jane, with about 100 to go.
It was actually a really exciting finish to the race, considering it was such a big field. Yeah, you're right, didn't know where to look. I was actually looking out wide, WT. I thought that he was going to get over top of them, but a tough effort by Kawaya going back-to-back in the Ballarat Cup. Seems to save his best for the track here, Kawaya, and a really nice effort. Johnny Allen in the saddle, and he's about to have a chat with Dean Petto.
Thank you, Jane. Well, Johnny, I remember asking you last year, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good would be the party here for the locals? Tell you what, we might have to extend that. What a great result and great thrill again for the team.
Yeah, definitely. Look, big effort by Archie and his team to get the horse up and ready for the race again. This year, obviously looked a bit hotter race this time around, but yeah, look, he was in great order and had a good run in transit. And yeah, I thought for 50 to go, I thought Billy might get me a wide, but to this lad's credit, he put his head down and tried hard.
I know he's trained here, but there's something about this track that he seems to enjoy. He turns up at the stalls with a smile on his face. Yeah,
and look, I'm sure Archie and his team have targeted this race today as well. So yeah, look, it was great to win last year and good to win this year again.
Good for you personally, you know, I wouldn't say a glowing spring carnival, but to wrap it up here today and win a Ballarat Cup for the locals, just adds a little bit of cherry on top.
Yeah, definitely. Look, anytime you can win a couple of big races over the carnival is great, so just happy to win this today.
Well, go and enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you.
Well, Johnny Allen enjoys the celebrations again. We'll have a chat to Archie Alexander, who I take you a little bit overwhelmed at the moment.
Yeah, very, very special. Obviously, hometown cup, and I think probably more special that he's a horse that we didn't come here like overly confident with. He hasn't won in 12 months. He's an old boy. He's had his issues. Great job by all the staff, and a big shout out to Andy Hamilton, our vet, because like I sort of referred to him like a Roger Federer. He's not getting any younger, and God, it's been quite hard to keep him in one piece, and great for Jerry Ryan, and what a ride from Johnny. I was watching and I was quietly just thinking, I think we're going pretty well here, and I just kind of got the vibe from the race caller that, you know, we wasn't calling him yet, and I just thought we're going really, really well. He's coming into the race full of steam, and he's a horse I've always felt, just the way the race had been, he's always got a bit too far back, and I like the way Johnny was just sort of 5th, 6th, sort of just on their heels, ready to pounce, and great day.
Like Roger Federer in his early days when he didn't know how to lose a Grand Slam, this guy doesn't know how to lose at Ballarat. 3 from 3 now.
Yeah, amazing. And like, he honestly came here today, and you should have seen him in the mounting yard. He was bouncing. He knew what it was about. I don't know why he peaked on this day, but for whatever reason, he was absolutely flying.
What does it mean to you personally? You mentioned obviously your hometown cup, but you're a young trainer coming through. You've got some great support by people. We know your credentials, we know your ability, and you're doing it on the big stage.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, like, everyone can talk the talk, but you need winners, and to land a big winner on a big day, when we've aimed this horse at this race, like, this isn't an afterthought. This has been the plan. And I said to Jerry, this is our plan, and I think a few times this prep he's looked at me and thought, when is this plan ever happening? But luckily it happened today.
The team game and the emotions as well. I saw your strapper coming in. She was bawling her eyes out as well. The love that these people have for the animals, the work that you guys put in as well.
Yeah, very special. She does a great job, and great for our team.
So good to see you. Enjoy the round of applause. Well done.
Thanks.
Archie Alexander, the winning trainer there. And Jane, as Archie said, sometimes it's hard to explain, but this guy just knows when it's Ballarat Cup day or when he needs to turn up here. 3 from 3 now.
Yeah, loves the track here, and it's nice to see a local trainer in Archie Alexander take out the local cup with Kawhi. Of course, we saw him win this race 12 months ago, and he's gone back-to-back Hutch. Look, he did get a lot of favours in the running. He was in the right position to strike when he needed to, but if you're looking outside the winner, there was some really unlucky runs and some pretty impressive runs. Obviously, WT, who we've touched on, but you'd probably need to watch this replay a few times.
It looks that way. Yeah, WT well back in the run. I think Karzov came from a fair way back as well. Aristocratic Miss, she's right in behind them. She's about 5 horses from the rider's screen. She was trucking at about the 250 metre mark and basically went over the line untested. I mean, she was sort of half clear with 50 to go. I think she wins that race.
So I think she would have gone
I mean, look,
close
I've only seen her just there, but she's been beaten a length and a quarter and hard held the last 300 metres.
She was the one that you were watching, wondering, is she going to get out? Is she going to get out? Because she was travelling so well. So I think she would have been very, very prominent in the finish had she got a run. Yeah,
they'll be gutted with that result, but she's run well again. Yes, well done to Johnny Allen. He did. I mean, he had the lovely run of the race. He was 3 with a bit of cover on the back of Suzuka Divis, who was without cover, and he was just close, like Archie said. So he was there to capitalise. It was a race with some unlucky runs. WT was huge in defeat, and well, looking at that again, Aristocratic Miss. That's a nightmare if you were on it.
That is very true. We're getting very close to a start the next at Morphettville as we link back up with Terry McAuliffe.